Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Lunatic Libertarian. I am the Lunatic Libertarian. I have a very special guest today, a candidate running for New York State Governor, the one and only Mr. Larry Sharpe. Larry,
How are you, sir?
Stage.
Good to see you.
I'm doing very well. Good to see you too, sir. So, welcome to the Lunatic Libertarian. I know that we did a Rumble show talking about systems not that long ago. Very good episode. I love that conversation. Why don't you introduce yourself to my guests and let them know you a little bit about yourself and
if they don't know me, are you kidding me? Come on now. Come on now. I am Larry Sharpe. I ran for governor twice before, running again. Tried to become the Libertarian nominee for VP a couple times. That didn't work out too well. But anyway, we're still rocking and rolling, making things happen. I'm trying to make New York I think Lunatic and I disagree on one important thing. It seems like we want the same thing at the end. I think that's true. We agree with the end game. I still have hope. I still have hope that if we can block them in New York, there's a shot for us to actually make real change culture. And then when we change that culture, actually begin a real change in the nation. And I think it has to start in a state like California or New York, one of those two, which are, they're the least free states ranked by Cato every year for the past 20 years. New York State, by the way, last 6 years in a row. If we can break it in this area, one of us has got to be in the front line. I'm on the front line. If we can break it here, we can break it anywhere. And that's where I think.
I think you're absolutely correct. You got New York State with a population of almost 20 million people, and half of that population is concentrated in the city of New York, with about 9 million people in the city of New York. Now, as governor, how would you unite the thought process across the state so that we can have some continuity as far as being free people?
The problem that we have, and the reason why Mamdani was so popular, wasn't because he was, so awesome. Look, I'll give the guy credit. The guy busted his ass for the seat. He did work hard for it. So work ethic, well done, Mamdani. I give him credit for that. He did hustle for it. This wasn't given to him. It's the reason why Cuomo didn't win, because he didn't hustle. He thought he deserved it because he was the king of New York. He thought he deserved it. But what made him so popular was he literally had answers. Now, again, answers I can't stand, but that isn't the point. The answer, he did have answers. If you went to him and said, we got to fix things, he would say, freeze the rent. Okay, that's an answer. He would say, free buses. That's an answer. And when you have the difference between no answer and a bad answer, people who are in trouble take the bad answer every single time. That's how it works. And that's how he was able to win. I have to make that happen. I have to have answers. I have to have answers to where people will get something better in their life if they believe in me. And that's not easy to do as libertarians. Most libertarians, and you know this, they don't work on policy. They work on theory. It's bad. It won't work. It won't work. Telling Mamdani that, telling people that, well, Mamdani's plans won't work. What they're going to ask is, okay, great. So what's your answer? And when you go, well, it's got to be freedom. People don't give a shit. They don't get that. They can't understand that. And the worst part is we are in a society, and this will drive most people who listen to this crazy. People think they are free. They go, I'm free. I can go to work in the morning. So I'm free. So wait a minute. So you're allowed to go make money for the government and you think you're free? And they go, yes. We have to change that mindset. And this is what I focus on. If I show people you can raise money through other ways than taxation, you can pay for things that you want without taxing people. You can do it voluntarily. It can happen. You can have the rich pay more voluntarily. You can give them incentives to pay more they'll happily pay more if you give them incentive to do so. They will do so. You can use, without question, you can use carrots and not sticks to get people to do what you want. Absolutely. And when I show people that, they're going to go, oh, wait a minute. When Larry's running things, the wealthy voluntarily pay more money. Yes. When Larry's doing things, I'm not forced, but I can still get what I want. Yes. When that begins to happen, that's when we'll bring them aboard.
And when you have people that are raised in a government system, and it's a very, very subsidized system in New York City and in the state, what kind of mentality would you put into people? people say re-education and stuff like this, and this is not the right terminology. When we say we want to change the thought process of people, it's to get off the mindset that they need government to facilitate these systems. Like, you're running under...
I would argue to facilitate anything.
Correct. So you're running under the We the People party. I remember I started a GoFundMe that says We the People will end poverty, and people couldn't wrap their mind around community gathering their resources and then distributing amongst each other. Now, people that live in a commune understand that, but people that live in cities or big major metropolitan areas, they just can't really grasp that. How do you think that we can change that mentality organically without force? Because force is not our thing.
There's a couple ways that we can do that. You're totally correct. Some people in more rural areas can get it, like the Amish in New York, right? They get it, right? The Mennonites in New York, they get it because they're voluntarily socialist. And they've decided that they want to get together and they want to give their money into a pool. You know, the Amish don't have to buy insurance. They don't have to buy insurance because they've agreed voluntarily that if Ezekiel's farm burns down, that we'll all get together and we'll rebuild his farm. They've all agreed to it. So if his farm burns down, he doesn't need insurance because they'll rebuild it. They've all agreed. And I have no problem with that. And you bring up a very valid point. Most people think that being a libertarian means you're selfish. No, it means you volunteer. That's all it means. You can be a socialist and be a libertarian if it's voluntary socialist. You agree to join this group and to follow their rules. And you may leave that group if you no longer like their rules. Totally fine. Totally fine. So the Amish survive in the libertarian world. If you look at any society that is more libertarian, the minorities thrive because we leave them alone. If you look at any group that's authoritarian, the first people attacked are minorities. The first, whether it's, you know, blacks, Jews, Hispanics, you name it, Muslims, Christians, certain areas, it's Christians who are minorities, some areas, Jews, they're minorities, some areas, it's blacks, they're minorities, wherever it is, up to there's whites, not minorities, right? Some areas of the Middle East, Christians are minorities. So whenever you have an authoritarian world, the minorities are always the first to be attacked. The more libertarian, the more they thrive. So I want to bring that point up first. You're correct. But the second piece is, if you notice most of my policies, I don't knock down government right away. What I do is I create a community answer that competes with government. Because I know and you know that community will always be better than government in outcomes. Always in outcomes. Now, not always in servicing, and that's the difference. Government services relatively well. Service meaning I will give you money so you stay exactly where you are forever. Yes. Right? Government's great at that. Right? Oh, you're poor? You will stay poor forever. You won't die. You won't die, but I'll just keep giving you money and you'll stay poor forever. That government's great at that. But actual results, only community can give actual results. Far better than government. So if we actually create these environments to where community shows that it's better, one of two things begins to happen. One, government gets better. Okay, awesome. Good if it does. Or two, government goes away. Both are the right answer. Both are the right answer. People need to be serviced effectively because people do fall down. People's barns burn down, right? People are unlucky or make bad mistakes. It happens. But someone's got to support them. The problem is we've decided government will. And the issue you have, I'll give you several parts of this. How do you do it in cities? Here's the problem. Most cities, the people are heavily transitory. New York, insanely such. About 1/3 of New York City residents are not born in the country. Another 1/3 aren't born in the city. So most people you meet in New York are not born there. It is very common when you meet people in New York City, go, where are you from? Because the assumption is you're not from here. I'm the weirdo. I'm actually born in Manhattan. I'm actually born in New York City, and I still live here. I'm the weirdo. But most people aren't. So what does that mean? We don't have a common culture. We don't have common rules. Because of that, we beg for a referee. Who's the referee? Government. That is why most city dwellers become more left and want more government, because they want some type of referee to decide what the rules are. And
right, they need a security system around that.
Correct. So how do we do that, though? And we do that by encouraging ownership. Because when you own, you feel like it's yours. When you own, you want to stay. When you own, generations stay. And now you create those communities. That's what it used to be. If you go back to New York City was a bunch of enclaves. It still is kind of. It still is. But the enclaves get gentrified and mixed and shifted, right? when it was enclaves, those enclaves, they had their own cultural rules. They had literally mutual aid funds. That was the norm. You had a problem and you were Italian, you went to the Knights of Columbus. That was a real thing. That's not the case anymore. But that used to be a thing. They would go to your Knights of Columbus, they would help you out. Elks Club was a common thing. You'd go there and they would help you out, right? And when local people help you out, you want to pay it forward. You want to assist, right? So now, this is how it works. If I'm in trouble and I go to the government, I apply for whatever program they have. The government gives me a check. How do I feel about it? I deserve it. I'm a citizen. I paid my taxes. It's my entitlement, right? In fact, I get mad. It's not enough, government. I need more, right? I'm mad. And if they take money away, oh my God, how dare you take my money away? Now, what about the opposite? What if I go to community and now you're there and you're like, Larry, you're part of my community? Yes, we're going to help you out. We're going to take care of your rent this month and we're going to help you get some food this month. I'm like, dude, thank you. I want to pay that forward. I don't want to come back every month and go, man, give me more money. I don't think that. I think, man, I got to get off my ass because these guys are taking money out of their pockets to help me out. I better get off my ass. I better do something. So I go do something. And yeah, I need some help. I need whatever, $500 this month, but next month I need 300. And the next month I need 100. And the next month I don't need anything. I'm good. I've got myself out of the hole, right? And now I feel like I owe you guys. So now next year you're in trouble. And I'm like, I got you. Because you had me, now I got you. And now I want to pay it forward. And that's what happens when it's community. It's not what happens when it's government. That's how we fix it.
We have accountability to each other as human beings in a community because we all are links in the chain to keep that community thriving. And I think that personal accountability goes into that. Now, when you're heavily subsidized, you become dependent. And instead of being a producer, you're just consuming, and and then the mentality changes over the years. And as one generation, the next generation, then you just are basically you're being molded to be in a socialist or communist society where it's not about the individual, it's about the community, but yet again, it's big daddy government that's going to say whether you can participate, you cannot participate. They make all the rules, they carry all the guns. Oh, your community doesn't deserve to have any kind of deterrent from the government. And it's kind of upsetting, especially being a veteran, to have people think that you're not supposed to take care of yourself. You are dependent on another entity to make sure that your life thrives. I tell everybody all the time, you want a socialist or communist outcome, go join the military. Everybody is the same. You have the same haircut, you eat the same food, you eat at the same time, you do all the same exercises. But yet again, you're learning to work as a team and create that bond of being a community and a unit. And that's what they say, you're a unit. And everybody pulls their weight. Now, you may have some stragglers here and there, but yet again, it's up to the leadership of that unit to then come up behind and bring them forward. So if you're the slow guy in a platoon running, you're up front, and everybody's pushing you to make sure that you can reach that next level. And I think that we've lost that mentality in today's day and age. I mean, Mamdani, you're saying free buses, freeze the rent, but yet again, how is that going to help when the money dries up from the capitalistic society? You're not going to have that backup plan anymore because the government
what it does is this is the problem that we have with government issues, and people often get mad at me when I say this. They say, "Well, once it happens, we're going to see the results." It's not true. It takes time for the market to respond. Number one. Number two, it takes time if government keeps just floating money. Right. So, yes, will the freezing of the rent come back to bite us? Yes, but not right away. It basically kicks the can down the road. There will be some short-term benefit for those people who are getting their rent frozen. It's true. It'll be about a year or two of value that will happen for those people. Everyone else, the next year or two, the rent's going to go up. We know this. That's how it always works every single time. We've frozen the rent before in New York City. De Blasio did it more than once. What did it do? It delayed things. Did it make things better short term for some people? Yes, and they love it. Go, see, Mom Donnie's awesome. My rent's the same for 2 years. They're right. But then over time, we saw it with de Blasio. Over time, the amount of rent increase was the same, 9%. It didn't change over time. Because when they unfroze it, the rents rose again. When they unfroze it, the rents rose again. They had to. Otherwise, you are creating by default slumlords. Not just that, overall goes up. Now, if the rent freezing would work, if it did work, then why is it still impossible to get to rent someplace in New York City? We did freeze the rent more than 3 times. We froze the rent. And we still don't have shitty rents. We still can't get places. So it does not work. We know this, but there's a short-term gain. He'll do it. People will clap for him for the first 2 years because they had a short-term gain. The market will then respond. And I guess he'll blame Trump or something or whatever. That's what'll happen.
Do you think that's because we live in a society now that is more about streamlining? I need it now. I can only handle 10 to 30 seconds worth of information coming off of my feed. I can only handle heating my food for 2 minutes in a microwave. I need to run through the drive-through. I don't have time. I'm focused on the rat race. I don't have time for any of this other stuff.
No, I don't think it's that. I think people will, and the example I always bring up is Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has changed the game. Prior to Joe Rogan, people were thinking about sound bites, but Joe Rogan made it okay to listen to a 2-hour podcast. And he was the one who really exploded that. And now people will listen to an hour podcast, a 2-hour podcast. They'll do other things. They'll put it in their ear and they'll go do work, right? They'll go do this, they'll go do that, right? But they will listen. They will. The issue is there's so much information. There's only so many talking heads that you listen to. Now, to be forward, the only talking head you must listen to always is me. Other than that, pick and choose. But yes, there are talking heads they want to listen to. And here's the problem. Talking heads tend to be more mainstream in the long run. They go left or right. Why? That's where the money is. Right? Again, Joe Rogan was the exception, but he was the exception. If you look at most talking heads, they're clearly left-leaning or clearly right-leaning. Well, what that means is in the long run, what do they do? They say vote Republican or vote Democrat in the long run. That's what winds up happening. We need more independents who are saying, no, don't just vote Republican, Democrat. Don't do that. And to be forward, that is happening. You are seeing a kind of civil war within both the Democrats and Republicans. And the only real answer is going to be, at one point, go third party.
Well, if we have enough people thinking that third party can actually accomplish a goal, right? That's one thing that everybody says, the libertarians, they just gaslight everybody. They don't actually accomplish anything. And, what I tell people is that you have to understand that it's like being in the Republican and Democratic Party combined, and everybody wants a say. And it creates a lot of internal strife. But yet again, we're handling that within the party system. We're not separating everybody out. We're including everybody, but it takes a little bit longer for time to roll on. I think that when we talk about the time lapse, it's not 10, 20 years. People are looking, I need it in 3 to 5 months, 6 months. I need it within this calendar year. And I think that's what I was trying to get at as far as, that immediate satisfaction.
Yes, I think that's true. Yes, I think we have moved to being what I need my fix now. I think it's true. We've moved towards dopamine hits. I think you're right. And I think the general rule is, it's a good general rule, but not 100% rule. The happier you are, the less you need dopamine hits. The more unhappy you are, the more you need dopamine hits. That's a good general rule. And we are right now, you can see it. We are an unhappy society, brother. We are. We're an unhappy society. And this is why in our founding documents of our country, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. That was in our founding documents because they knew happy people don't want authoritarianism. Happy people don't want socialism. Happy people don't want communism. Happy people don't want fascism. Happy people want freedom. That you've hit it perfectly. This is a reason. This is a problem, which is why you hear me constantly talking about culture, about happiness. All the time, I'm trying to give people opportunities for happiness, opportunities for purpose. I believe in my heart that people become happier when 3 things are true. They feel loved, they feel respected, and they have purpose. When those 3 things happen, and government should go out of its way to try to facilitate that to the best of its ability, if it can, or just stay out of the way and let people find it anyway, right? And just defend their freedoms, right? in my perfect world, and it's not the way it is at all, but what's supposed to happen is the government protects our rights and we protect ourselves. That's what's supposed to happen. We have lost that. Oh my God, lost that. My governor literally says, this were her words, it's my right to protect all New Yorkers. First off, there's not a right. And two, it's not even your job. Like there's no job description that says the governor's job is to protect all New Yorkers. That's not a thing. So we should be protecting rights and then ourselves protect ourselves. That's what's supposed to happen. The closer we get to that, the happier we will be. And if you notice, every one of my policies moves us towards that.
Now, going that you're not going for a city of New York position, you're talking about the entire state. What can we do to get people that are outside of New York State and outside of New York City to understand where the state of New York is at, right?
What do you mean? Repeat that again. What do you mean?
If we were to separate the city of New York versus the state of New York, right?
Oh, got it. Okay, thank you.
So you have a $260 billion budget for the state of New York.
About half that's New York City.
Correct. So how do we get people to invite themselves out of the city? Because the city, you're taxed as far as your transportation. They what is it? They started the walking tax. You have a surveillance state. Kathy Hochul was saying, oh, we need 10 billion more cameras around the state or around the city so that we can keep you safe. And I don't think that's helping anybody.
Nope.
I mean, I think all it is giving us more video of atrocities that happen across the city. But
what cameras do, they say it's for safety. Cameras do not stop crime. What cameras do is they allow the cops to solve crimes faster. That's true. So they can solve crimes faster. That's true. But so far, it hasn't really made it any better or safer. What they wind up doing is making sure that everybody's a criminal because they can always find video of you doing something bad. So it makes everybody a criminal. And that's the goal, by the way. The goal is to make so many rules that everybody's guilty. So all they have to do is target you. And once they target you, you go into jail. Because you done something wrong, lunatic. I know you done something wrong. So I just got to follow enough cameras, follow you around. Up, there it is. Got him. He did something wrong. We made some rule up he didn't know about. Put him in jail. So once they target you, you go to jail. So that's the kind of what they're trying to achieve. The cameras only do that. But here's the problem. Again, I'll go back to a kind of funny thing. I was watching the Young Turks maybe a year ago or so. It was when Milei was first gaining power in Argentina. So maybe a year and a half ago, whenever it was. And literally they were on their show literally saying, he's trying to get rid of the Department of Transportation. Do they not want transportation? Now, in their minds, this wasn't a joke for them. They're like, if there's no Department of Transportation, I guess all the trucks explode? Is that what happens? The second you get rid of the trucks, there's no more transportation anymore? But that's how people think. And this I bring up often. People in these types of environments, particularly city dwellers, to your point, they can't imagine stuff happening without government doing it. It is beyond their imagination. Guys like me and you go, what are you, crazy? But in their minds, they cannot imagine. They believe if you get rid of the Department of Education, my children will be stupid. They believe that. If you get rid of cameras, everyone will be killing each other on the streets. There'll be stabbings every day. Everyone's going to be dead. Nothing but dead. Machine guns in the streets. They honestly believe that. The fear the government has put in. Look, I got to be clear. The government has been very effective with their tactics. I wish they were bad at it. They're not. They're very good at fear tactics. It's worked. Remember something. In New York State, over 50% of New Yorkers voted for Mamdani. In New York State, over 50% of New Yorkers are on either Medicaid or Medicare. Over 50%. That means that's how the government gives them their health insurance. That's most New Yorkers. Of course you're scared of the government going away. Of course you are. They can't imagine anything else. If you hear what they say when they're talking about the government shutdown, they're not saying, oh my God, I won't have the best access to healthcare. They're saying the government is taking away my healthcare. That's the words they use. The government is taking away my health care. They can't imagine getting health care any other way. And I go one step further, which you brought a very important point earlier. I want to get back to it. Talking about people and changing culture. Imagine anyone on this who's watching this now probably has not had this happen. But imagine, if you could, you were a kid growing up and you never saw ever your mom or your dad go off to work. You never saw it. You were a kid. You never saw that happen. You never saw the family get up in the morning and get dressed and go off to work, whether that was in a uniform or a suit and tie, or whether that was in overalls and a work belt. You never saw your mother or father get up and go to work on a daily basis. You never saw it. Not just that. You never saw your grandma or grandpa do it. You never saw it. You maybe one uncle or aunt somewhere who you hardly ever saw did it, and you see people on TV do it. But you've never seen it. You would be a very different person that you are now, Lunatic. You'd be a very different person now if that was what you grew up in. This is your point from earlier. We are programming people from when they're children. That they think, well, no, I just get a check. That's what happens. So why would I go to work with people on TV? Or going to work with people who are billionaires? That's what going to work's for. Not for me, right? I never saw my mom do it. I got this crazy uncle, another in the city. He goes to work, but he's weird, right? But no one else does around me. You'd be a very different person. And people often think it's a racial issue. It isn't. It isn't.
Well, Larry, I'm a
issue.
giant racist, so, I had a comment.
Well, that's the assumption. And that's why I bring it up.
Yeah, so you're assumed to be racist. You're assumed everybody is put in these categories and you're labeled and I'm better than you, I'm more superior than you, and they don't, it has to be a cooperation for society to thrive. Now, I want to know, when we talk about the cost of living, reforming the justice system, backdoor deals of government like Cuomo after, in my words, murdering elderly in New York State, and then all of a sudden he's not going to prison, he's running for New York City mayor. That's insanity to me. When we have accountability in government from the people, maybe we won't get taken over so badly. But when we have government education, we've given up the security of training our children and given it to the government. And that's where we have, my child spends 10, 12 hours in government facilities, whether it be education systems or, sporting systems or whatever, because it's all government based. You lose the ability to actually mold that individual. True. You lose that ability. And I think that's another thing, is that the nuclear family has been destroyed. You have subsidy after subsidy after subsidy.
I'm going to go further than that. People on the right tend to say the best way to raise children is the nuclear family. They're wrong. The best way is the extended family.
Grandma's,
the extended family is actually the best. Yes, everyone. That's the best way. Now, if I can't get that, nuclear is the second best, right? The worst is single parent. That's the worst, right? Actually, the worst is the state. So not including the state systems, the worst, if you're going to have family, is single parent, right? We have encouraged single parent. We haven't, I'm going further than you. We haven't just broke the nuclear family. We first broke up the extended family. We broke that up, and then we broke up the nuclear family, which was a response from breaking up the extended family. And now we're sitting here having people who are individually single parents. Look, I'm not mad if you're a single parent. It may be your fault, may not be your fault. I don't know. But the point is, the system encourages you to be a single mom or a single dad. It encourages you to do so. So people get mad and go, well, these welfare moms or whatever. Hold on. Here's an issue. If you are a single mom of two in New York State, and I'm not making judgment, I'm telling the truth here, you're a fool to work unless you can make lots of money. If you have some kind of degree or some kind of qualification, or you have your own business where you can make lots of money, you should go work. If you can't, if you've got to work a minimum wage job or close minimum wage job, why would you? The system will pay you more and you'll have more time with your kids if you don't work. It's not because you're lazy, it's because you're practical. The system encourages you to do so. Because if you go work, you got to pay for childcare, you spend less time with your kids, you work harder, you don't make as much money. Or I can sit home, do some kind of side hustle to make some extra cash. I'll make more money and have more time with my kids. Why wouldn't you? Right? And again, I'm not mad. I'm just saying it's actually practical. It's actually rational to say, why would I go to work? The system's going to pay me to not. I'm not going anywhere. So the system is supporting people and encouraging people to be single. That's terrible. We should be supporting the extended family. That's why I keep talking about community, community, community. Because when you have extended families together, they become clans. And clans are the best way to raise children, the best way to keep people together, the best way to support each other. And again, the Amish have taught us this. The Amish population in America is growing. People don't realize that. It's growing. What does that mean? That means as the Amish people make children, the people aren't leaving. They're choosing to stay. They used to leave a lot more. They got it's called Rumspringa, I think, where they would go out and say, look, go out and experience the world. Decide if you want to come back. Because Amish are voluntary. You don't want to be here? Don't be here. I don't want to hear anything.
Built into their system, if you don't like it, as soon as you get to a certain age, we let you go explore the world. If you like the English side, you can go. But 80 to 85% of the Amish come back home.
They're staying now. They're growing. There was a time when they weren't. Now they're like, no. I don't like this world out here. This world sucks. I'm going back. I'm going to go back. Let me put my hood back on. I'm good. I'm putting my cool hat on. My name's Ezekiel. I'm good. Let's go build some barns. They are in. They're staying. And that wasn't happening in the past. Now it's exploding. Why? To your point, they're seeing there's no community out there.
Yep.
But there's community where they were. And people want community. This is why we've tried to make online communities. But it's not as good, which is one of the reasons why people say all the time, I go out and I meet people all the time on purpose. You see it. I'm out all the time in New York State. I'm out constantly. Many people in my chat have met me personally at some event, some place out there, because I want my community to not just be online. I want to have met the person, shake their hand, give them a hug, talk to them one-on-one. Many times where I go, I'm eating. I break bread with them, right? So that kind of connection makes them go, no, Larry's a real person. I do that for several reasons. Number one, I want my community to be real. I do. And that's just a personal thing. Because I talk about community, I got to do it. But there's a second piece here. People, if I start to become more popular, people are going to attack me. They're going to call me names, come up with lies. The only way that they're going to be able, I'm going to be able to defend that is if people know me and go, yeah, that's not Larry. That's not him. I know that guy. It's not him. If someone all of a sudden told me, oh, Lunatic? Yeah. No. He actually supports Mom Donnie. He does. He thinks he's great. If someone said it to me and they would lie, don't believe him. Lunatic's full of crap. He's a closet socialist. He's a Fed. And they might, if you get popular, that would happen. The more popular you get, the more it's going to happen. He's actually a Fed. He's a Mom Donnie supporter. They're going to say that stuff. I know you. I'm like, that's bullshit. But it's because you and I have had these conversations. That's why I know. But if I didn't know that, I'd be like, damn, he's a Fed. That's what I would think.
Right. And it's funny that people don't actually interact that much in their communities anymore. It's one and done. And it's because the security systems aren't in place. People are very insecure in themselves, let alone the systems that operate the world. I mean, we've discouraged people from going out and actually interacting with the world. Yep. COVID told everybody, you better stay in your house, don't move. You're gonna injure people. It's gonna be all your fault. It's all this fear mongering that they put into people. Don't interact with white people. You're not black. You can't do this. You can't say that. And it's absolute ridiculousness. In a free society, if I want to say, it doesn't matter what I say because it all depends on whose ears it falls upon.
Yeah. Yep.
Society is not about, everybody's complying with everybody. You're going to have friction. But to eliminate discourse altogether, I think that's a very ingenuine thing to do, especially for people in New York. And I've never been in New York. I've actually, my wife
should come visit. It's a great place to visit. Don't live here. But I live here and I don't want you to live here. You should, but visit, amazing. Lots of great stuff in New York to visit. Lots.
Yeah, I don't think I could handle New York City just because of, I'm not a very in-person interaction kind of guy. You know, I believe that personal security is a big thing, and Second Amendment rights are good.
You can't do that here.
Exactly. So you encourage people to go out in their communities, help each other.
True.
How does the city, because you got to make $150,000 a year to live in the city versus living in a rural area, which is going to be $72,000 to have a median, you know, kind of income. How do we change the infrastructure that if people wanted to leave the city but then still work without, you know, Elon Musk is big about tunnels, high-speed rail. We have all these innovations and stuff. How do we actually get the infrastructure to make New York operate a whole lot more efficient? Now, they've implemented taxes for crossing the bridges. They've implemented taxes, you know, for walking the streets. You know, they're going to make a tax for, I think you're breathing a little too much after that jog in Central Park. I think you're going to have to up on that air tax just like in the low racks.
I don't know why you're being greedy and taking all that oxygen. We have to redistribute the oxygen fairly amongst New Yorkers. You're correct. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, no, the reality of it is when it comes to New York, we have to get the government out of building. That's the answer. Government building is by default inefficient, all about a jobs program, and there is a benefit to not getting it done on time. Why do I say that? There's a benefit. So if I have to build a subway line, and I get nice government workers to do it or union workers to do so, they get paid by the hour. It doesn't matter how long they're working. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. And they get overtime if they work longer. So now we're building this thing and it can't work for some reason. All of a sudden, whatever, there's some reason to stop and some foreman goes, stop, we can't do it because X, Y, and Z. Well, everything slows down. We do an investigation. It takes a month or whatever. Everyone's still getting paid. Well, now it's over budget. Now it was supposed to cost $2 billion. Now it's already at $2 billion. What happens? Just get more money. Just get more money. More people get paid longer. There is a benefit to it going longer. Now change that. I don't actually want the government to build it, this same subway line or whatever that we're talking about, right? I instead say, we're going to lease this subway line out to a private company. We're going to lease it out for X dollars per year for 20 years or whatever is the deal we make. The government gets money. It's not paying a thing. It's getting money. Number one, why do I need more taxes? I'm getting money because I'm leasing the land out. Private company goes to build it. If those builders go, yeah, we can't build it on time, they get sued.
You're not meeting your end of the contract. You're not meeting your obligations. You are going to be held accountable.
Yes, the private market holds them accountable. Government does not. Government rewards them for failure. Private market punishes them for failure. So now if they actually do that and go, well, it was late. Good, we're suing you. And you better build it or we're putting you guys under. We're putting all you guys under and you're not getting paid. We're not going to pay you. See you in court. And they go, what? But we're this. See you in court. And I'm Amazon and I'm building this line because I want to have an Amazon line. I got billions of dollars. You ain't scaring me, union. You ain't scaring me. I'll see you in court. I got so many lawyers. I have more lawyers than you got. Good luck with that. All of a sudden, things change. Now it has to get done on time. Now it won't take 20 years. It took 15 years to build the Second Avenue subway. If that was any other private company, it's built in 18 months. It took 15 years, 18 months built, done, set and set. You want to make stuff work better? Get the government out. Have the government lease the land and walk away. That is how you make it work. Here's the problem, though, and you might go, that makes total sense. Here's the problem. If I'm the mayor of New York City or the governor of New York, how do I make my political capital? By handing out jobs. That's how I make my political capital. That's how I keep all my construction guys giving me cash every year when I run for office. That's how I keep my donors. I'm not joking. That's the way they do it. So if I do that and I say, hey, lease it out, private company, Lunatic, take your company and go do this, or whoever I lease it out, I didn't give the jobs away. Well, I didn't get that political power. I want to control it so I can decide my union guy here gets it. My friend who's a construction worker gets it. I can decide who gets the jobs.
Yeah.
So they got to support me because I'm paying their bills. I'm using government money to pay their bills. Of course they're going to support me. You're going to vote for me. You can tell all your workers to vote for me. You can tell your workers literally, dude, if you don't vote for Larry Sharpe, all that money you've been making on that subway line you've been scamming goes away. damn, we voting for Larry. That's how that works. I wish it didn't work that way. Now, the advantage I have is I can't be corrupt yet. I mean, one day maybe, but I can't be corrupt yet. I don't have the connections.
That was going to be my next question. How do you handle the corruption from from New York State legislature all the way down to the people on the ground? Because there's so much infrastructure as far as the bonding of the government to this company, or I'm a senator, I'm going to give this to my cousin, or I'm going to give it to my brother, or whatever the case may be. You have illegal operations as far as crime syndicate organizations that operate throughout New York. For the $260 billion budget, and I don't think you guys work within a surplus. You guys are always working out of a deficit. How do you eliminate the corruption? And then, so it would be eliminate corruption, create more wealth equality amongst everybody, because it's not going out to just Tom, Susan, Paul, and Pal. It's going to everyone. It's equal distribution. And then the accountability factor. Do you think that you could be able to accomplish that? Yeah. It's New York. I'm sorry.
Yes. Let me try to get through some of this. The first thing is, you're right. New York State gets a $20 billion bailout from the federal government every year. Every year. We get $20 billion bailout every year. So New York State always runs a deficit. It always does. New York State is about 100 some odd billion, I think, dollars in debt. I think it's around the 100 billion. And if you then count our unfunded mandates, it's like 300 or something like that. It's a lot. It's hundreds of billions of dollars in debt. And we still get a bailout every single year from the federal government. So yes, you are correct. That's how that works. Does anybody in New York State care? No. We all getting paid. Grift while the grifting's good. That's the answer, right? That's what they want right now. So how do I begin to fix that? Number one, I will not be beholden to the political parties, right? That's the issue. I won't be beholden to the political parties. So since I'm not beholden to the political parties, I'm not beholden to those people who give to those parties. So off the bat, I'm not beholden to them, right? Which is why I like term limits. Because am I going to be corruptible in the first 4 years? Probably not. If I make a second 4 years, maybe get rid of me after that, right? This way I know I can. Look, I wish I was completely incorruptible. I wish I was the perfect human being and I'm perfectly perfect and I'm incorruptible. I hope that's true. But I wouldn't believe that if I were you. I don't believe that myself. I think I'm human. And the worst part is, I think most people get into this world, they think that their bad behavior is okay because they think they're the one saving. So I'm just as likely as when I'm in my third term being like, no, this corruption's okay because I'm the savior of New York. Therefore, my corruption's okay. Yours isn't, lunatic, but my corruption's fine, right? Yeah, I take away this because I'm the governor and I'm the savior. And I think people get to believe that. I don't want to believe that. That's why I like term limits. So now I go off and I realize, oh no, I'm just some dude and I was replaced and the world didn't end. Oh, I'm not the savior of the world. Huh. So yes, so that's peace of mind. But number two, how do you make sure that you have more quality, and how do you make sure you don't have so much corruption? Here's how. Decentralize, decentralize, decentralize. The more you decentralize, the better. Cut ties from the federal government, cut ties from the state government, everything we do. I talk about this constantly. How do I keep stuff more local? Why? It is just math. And it may sound funny, but it's just math. If everything's at the federal level, I just got to send 4 or 5 goons to Albany so I can get my $60 billion, right? So that's totally worth it. 4 or 5 goons to go to Albany at $60 billion, totally worth it. But now it's spread across 62 counties. Well, I got to send at least 2 goons per county. Now I got to send 120 goons out, and each county is maybe $1 billion. That's it, probably less. Certain counties probably like 100,000. It's that low for certain counties. Some is probably $2 billion. That's not worth it. It just isn't worth it. Per hit, it is less efficient to grift. So therefore, by default, there will be less grift. So just by decentralizing, you can immediately begin to have less corruption. Can I end corruption? No. Can I make less of it? Yes. And if there's less of it, it can be tracked. That's the issue. If there's less of it, it can be tracked. If you see New York State, whenever they get people for corruption, the people they arrest never say, I didn't do it. Never. What they say is, I had to. It's the system. I couldn't get anything done. And sadly, they're right. I wish they weren't, but they're right. Our system is made that all our politicians are corrupt. Look at Eric Adams. He never said he didn't do it. He said it's okay. He never said he didn't do it. He just said it's okay. We do it. And they said, yeah, you're kind of right. It's true. In fact, if you remember, when nepotism also is normal in New York State, he made all his friends all kind of stuff. His sister was a deputy mayor, all kind of stuff. And the press went at him and said, this is terrible. Why would you do that? He said, we all do it. De Blasio had his wife, which is true. And she had $1 billion and she lost it. $900 million. She just lost it. Hey, whatever. She's lost it. Yes, that's a true story. You can research it. It's true. So that's how that works, right? So nepotism is normal. Not just that. In New York State, it is legal to both be a public servant and a political consultant. Same time. Legal. Not legal federally. But it's legal here. You can be a public servant and you can be a political consultant. Yeah, that's legal in New York. As long as you register. It's got to register. That's all you have to do is register. You can do it. No worries. So yes. So corruption is the way things get done. What does that mean? Everybody's guilty is what I said earlier. Everybody's guilty. When they target you, you're going to jail. That's how it works.
Yeah, and I mean, the level of corruption that's come out of New York State, New York City is, I mean, there's thousands and thousands of cases that you can bring up, and it's actually kind of insane when you really think about it. Yep. I mean, I chose today because it's November 5th, right? It's the full moon. It's where nature is illuminating the darkness in the night. And I want people to, I don't know if anybody remembers V for Vendetta, but they need to remember the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason, and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. And it's a very well-known story of the happening of Faust wanting to blow up Parliament because of so much corruption in the kingdom. And that was in 1600s. It still applies today. And it applies even more in New York State because it's one of our oldest cities in the country and one of our oldest states.
Well, the second thing that I was going to bring up is how do we make this happen locally? Two things. Number one, I already have a policy for if you owe the state any money at the end of the year, whether that's through fines, fees, taxation, whatever, if you owe the state money, you can take up to $250 of that money you owe the state and give it to any non-government funded nonprofit in the state. If it's in your county, it's double to $500. So you got speeding tickets, you got a fine for your business, you owe tax because you paid your taxes late, you owe a fine or a fee. You can give it to the government if you want to, if you love your government. I don't know why you would, but if you do, it's voluntary. So give to, because you love Kathy Hochul, give her money if you want. I hope you don't. Or you can give it to any nonprofit, non-government funded nonprofit in your town or in your county. Well, wait a minute. I owe the government $750. Okay, $250 goes to the government, but $500 of that doesn't go to government. It goes to local guys here who are trying to do something that works, whether it's mutual aid fund or fixing potholes, or it's child care, or it's a nonprofit, a dentist that takes care of people who don't have enough money for dental care. Whatever your community needs, you give it there. That's number one. Number two, the reality of it is the less money that goes to Albany, the less corrupt it is. Just how it works. There's less money there. Now what happens is local communities, non-government funded, that's a critical aspect. As that happens, you start finding out that people start going, wait a minute. The government's really crappy at fixing potholes. But Lunatic's business that we funded, they're doing it great. Huh. And when the government does it bad, what happens? We have to give them more money. They get rewarded for failure. Huh. Exactly. But if Lunatic sucks, we don't give him money next year. But he's good. Let's give him more money because he likes fixing potholes. He's really good at it. We're fixing all potholes. Give him the stuff. What does that mean? The people who are fixing potholes for the government can either go away or fix potholes someplace else or quit and join your company. Either one, whatever makes the most sense. Again, government either gets better or goes away. Both are the right answer.
Well, Larry, I'm going to tell you, I have the secret recipe for the ancient Romans concrete. So okay. I'm not releasing that because, I'll make roads that last over, 4,000 years. So, I mean, it's just, it's if you were to make things last longer, if you were to take the monetary value out of government, let's say we made all government positions voluntary, that eliminates corruption as well. I mean, we spend all this money and
No.
money.
No, my friend. If the voluntary person is still handing out jobs, it's still corrupt. If they're still handing out jobs, it's still corrupt. The issue is not handing out jobs. Let me be clear about this. You just made a very valid point. If I'm being funded by the government, why would I make the potholes last when I fix it? Why would I? There's literally no incentive. Why would I? I want them to fall apart so I can get paid to do it again. I can't wait for it to collapse. Why would I? There's literally no incentive for me to do a good job. My incentive is to fail so you can pay me again. Now, if it's you, though, you want to fix all the potholes. You want to keep getting your $500 from the 1,000 people or 10,000 people who are giving you the money. You want 10,000 people to give you $500. You now got a serious freaking business. You're rocking and rolling at that point. So you want that. So you're going to fix those potholes, and they're going to be like, this guy is the best pothole fixer in the world. You now have a reason to make sure there's no more potholes. Because now you have success. People go, give that guy more money. Since I've been giving this guy money, there's no potholes in my street. That's amazing. The potholes are gone. Give him my money. And the reality is, the money is being given anyway. So here's the best point. It allows people who normally wouldn't be able to afford giving money to their community to give money to their community. So it's not just rich people doing it, right? So you're not beholden to two big investors, right? You're not beholden to that. I got two big investors and I go, fix potholes where I tell you to fix them. Otherwise, I don't give you the money. That's what happens when you're beholden to two big investors. And because you're a business owner, you go, okay, I guess I'll fix them around your neighborhood, nobody else, because you're beholden to the two big guys. But in this system, the max is $500. So you're beholden to the community. So you can't just go to a rich guy's house to fix his potholes. You can't do that because they're gonna lose $500 for everybody else. So that's why this system works.
Yeah, I like the fact that when we have conversations, we like to bounce things off of each other because I don't have all the answers. I know that you don't have all the answers. But
I have all the answers. I have all of them.
It's a collective thought process because you still have to, if you're elected governor, you still have to go through the legislature to get things done,
yes.
Correct? And how would you build those relationships?
Okay. Yeah. Here's how we fix that. Right now in New York State, there is no way I can control the assembly. The assembly has a supermajority Democrat. No way I can fix it. But I can do the Senate. The Senate, I have to get somewhere between 5 and 10 people to switch over and become independent. Either libertarian or with the people, doesn't matter. The block is what matters. The independent block matters. If I do that, I will control the Senate via swing vote. What does that mean? That means that, generally speaking, I would be a lame duck because if the law gets passed and comes to me and I veto it, they would have an ability to override my veto. So I'd be lame duck. But if it never gets to me because it's blocked in the Senate, it's just dead. Mm-hmm. It's just dead. It's gone. It has to go through the Senate. It's dead. So I will control it, which means that is my leverage. You want something done? No worries. You got to fix that. Not just that. A lot of stuff in New York State is done through the budget. The governor has to sign the budget or there's no budget. I have no problem not having a budget. None. Zero. You think this government shutdown is a big deal? Watch mine. Watch mine. I will support community like there's no tomorrow. Not just that. If the Congress gets so hard where they will be like, we're going to stop Larry Sharpe. Great. I have nothing to do. I will sit in your districts and make sure you get primaried out. That's it. I've already said the governor has two aircraft. I'm going to sell one of them and outfit a bus so I can run the government out of a bus so I can travel across the state and still do the government because I will need the people's backing. I will. If I win this thing, I need the people's backing to help me out. So I have the people come with me and we go to whatever, Andrea Stewart Cousins district, which is in Westchester. I'll just sit in Westchester for a month and badmouth her publicly for a month until literally people hate her and throw her out of office. And I'll say, good, that's the lesson. Who's next? You want to keep me from doing my job? I will wreck all of your careers. Not just that. When she's thrown out, I will take her pension. I'll just say, you don't get a pension. Why? Because I say so. And if anybody pays you, I will put them in jail. Literally, I just say that. Because if I can't do anything, that's what I'll do. Done. I'll just do that. Because you give me no option. Okay. So you lose your pension. Wow. You want to be another martyr? Who's next? Can we get work done now? And we will. Why? Because I'll have nothing to lose. Larry, they'll want to impeach you. I'll have nothing to lose. If you stop me from doing my job, you put me in a spot where I have nothing to lose. So if I crush you on the way out, then I guess I crush you on the way out. If I'm going out, so are you.
And it's very, very intriguing because in Argentina, Milei just got reelected.
Yes.
And they were downing his legislation. They weren't allowing, he would veto, and then they would still pass legislation anyway. Now his party is gaining more and more seats, which allows his policies to then be integrated in and start really, really moving things forward. And that played out in real time. And that's a real example of what you just spoke about. If anybody wants to go look it up, just go look up Argentina and what just happened in their elections.
The advantage to that is, and to be forward, and I told people this, Milei is not perfect. He made mistakes. He got stuck in some stupid meme coin damn thing too. He made mistakes. But what he told his people, he was a great communicator. He was. This was his skill set. He said, this first year is going to suck. But at the end of this first year, it's what Trump did not do. Trump was like, second I'm elected, everything changes. America's great. The second I'm elected. That was a terrible communication by him. He should have told the truth. For me to end these wars, do all this stuff, it's going to take me at least a year. He didn't say any of that. Terrible communicator. Milei was like, no. This first year, yeah, it's going to suck. It's going to suck. But at the end of this year, it's going to be great. And he was right. What actually happened is the reason why he won again was because Argentinians saw a better life. That's the truth. They saw a 30 to 40% reduction in their rents. They saw a reduction in homelessness. They saw inflation still go up, but minimum compared to what it was. They saw a drastic reduction in inflation. Their lives got better under him. There were other problems, no doubt, but their lives got better. And what he did for the first time is he gave Argentinians hope. Oh my God, we actually got a shot at having a better life. And they went, vote for this guy. Yeah, he screwed up. Yeah, he goes on stage and does stupid, rock band shit. We can't stand it. But you know what? My life's better. Vote for the guy. It's fine. Let him do his dumb stuff. Let him have the chainsaw, whatever. He feels good. My life is better. I'm fine.
Yeah, because the course of reality showed that policy was changing, life was changing, and it's not overnight. Trump sends the message, I'm going to end the Russian-Ukrainian war in 24 hours. I'm going to solve this. And it's going to be done just like that. And it just becomes rhetoric. There's no actual change happening in real time. What Milei did, he said, hey, this is going to suck. It's going to take time, but we'll get there eventually. And if you trust the process, you'll see the end result. It's just like I'm not an Ozempic guy. I'm going to trust the process of diet, exercise, and everything else. I don't need that immediate Mr. Keto. I don't need the immediate satisfaction. Now, we're coming up on this hour. You got a very tight schedule, so
I do.
Hit right here, LarrySharpe.com/donate. LarrySharpe.com. Be a volunteer. The state of New York will match. If you are from the state of New York and you donate, they will match what those donations. And what's the number again, Larry?
6 times. So if you give $10, $60. You give $100, $600. You give $200, $1,200. Yes, absolutely, guys. You might go, Larry, you're taking government money. Yes, it's the way to win. The other guy's doing it too. That's the way to win. I want the cash. And it's coming out anyway. It's coming out anyway. It's going to somebody else or me. I will take it and I will change that system. Absolutely. I will take it and I will change that system. Yes, I will.
And just remember the 5th of November, because there was a corrupt system that somebody didn't like. They tried to change it. He, had his deal. But the story behind that, check out V for Vendetta, because it looks like we're headed in that direction of a totalitarian state and a surveillance state where you can't walk outside without the permission of another entity that says, oh, you can live your life, but it's only within these restrictions. Let's be free. Let's be independent.
Actor in that. You know that the actor is Hugo Weaving. He's the same actor who was Agent Smith in The Matrix. Same actor. So he was the system in The Matrix, and he was the anti-system in this one.
And it's a very good story, but we're headed in that direction. I really wish Larry the utmost success in his governor race. I know that they got you twice. Hey, maybe the third time is the charm. LarrySharpe.com/donate. Volunteer. Get out in your communities and be free. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Larry Sharpe. Anything else you want to tell the people before we leave?
Not at all, guys. Check out LarrySharpe.com. And I'm still doing shows on Sharpe Way too. I hope to see you guys there.
All right, Larry. Thank you very much. Everybody, like, share, subscribe, and support Larry Sharpe. I'm the Lunatic Libertarian, and we are out. Thank you.